out to make some burgers for my husband and I. And I wasn't going to do a video on this because I thought, who's gonna wanna see me make burgers? But then I got to thinking, some of you may not know how to stretch that ground beef, to stretch it and make more to feed your family. And during the inflation, that period that we're going through, this recipe might actually come in handy for you, for some of you out there who are trying to feed your family and are just barely getting by. Now, I don't use ground beef because I'm allergic to it. So if you want to follow along and do exactly what I'm doing, then you'll save even more money. But if you want to use ground beef, use ground beef. Let's get started. First of all, I have got 1 pound of ground turkey and I've got 1 pound of ground chicken. Now, the reason my husband and I do this is because the ground turkey, it doesn't cook up very well when you make burgers with it, but if you throw in the ground chicken, it makes a great burger. Now, if you want to use ground beef, go ahead and grab 2 pounds of ground beef. I've got 2 pounds here of meat, the ground turkey and the ground chicken. So the first thing I'm gonna do is add an egg. Just 1 egg, okay? Then just grab some basic steak sauce and drizzle in maybe 1/4 cup. Now I've got some Worcestershire sauce and I'm gonna add maybe about 1/4 cup of that as well. Okay? Now I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Now you could put garlic in here as well. Let's do that. I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. Okay, and here's how we're gonna stretch this and make more. We're gonna add some breadcrumbs. Now I make my own homemade breadcrumbs, and if you're really trying to save on your grocery bill, go back on my page on Facebook or even on YouTube and you'll find a recipe for homemade breadcrumbs. But take 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs and go ahead and add that. And if you wanna stretch it even further, you could add 1 cup of those breadcrumbs. And then I'm just gonna take my hands and I'm gonna get in here and I'm going to mix this together. Now, if you wanna put on gloves and you're someone who can't stand to touch meat, I get it, go ahead and put those gloves on. I don't need gloves. So, you just wanna make sure you wash those hands thoroughly. Now we're just gonna mix this around really well. And now you're just gonna pat out your burgers. It's that simple. You pat it with the palm of your hand. You're not putting finger marks in the burger. I know a lot of times I've seen burgers patted out and they will have finger marks where you put your fingers in it. But if you use the palm of your hand, you won't have any marks. And it makes a really pretty burger. I hope this recipe helps some of you out there who are struggling with your grocery bill and you're trying to stretch your food. This is a great one. Have a good evening.